Module is body language. Now, body language is a science. It's the science of neurolinguistics. Body language is a lot of hard work, not only to personally master, but also remember during your presentation. Now, we often forget ourselves and we slip into old habits. The next section of information will hopefully enlighten you about some of the things that you're presently doing during a presentation. I found at least 12 of those things that I do inside the information that I'm about to present to you. And since, I have been able to stop myself from doing them anymore. I have found a greater response, both physically, from the participants, as well as verbally. The feedback given was also amazingly interesting. Such comments as, "He sounded and it felt like he knew what he was talking about. The seminar should be longer so that we can get more information from Dr. Aryan." So today, let's discuss 25 no-nos in body language. Our body language exhibits far more information about how we feel than it is possible to articulate verbally. All of the physical gestures that we make are subconsciously interpreted by others. This can work for or against us, depending on the kind of body language that we're using. Some gestures project a very positive message, while others do nothing but set a negative tone. Most people are totally oblivious to their own body language, so the disciplines of controlling these gestures can be quite challenging. Most of them are reflexive in nature, automatically matching up to what our minds are thinking at any given moment. Nevertheless, with the right information and a little bit of practice, we can train ourselves to overcome most of our negative body language habits. Practice avoiding these 25 negative gestures. First of the 25 no-nos is, of course, holding an object in front of your body. Now, try to avoid doing this. Holding a coffee cup or a notebook. With ladies, it would be a handbag or something like that. But holding an object in front of your body can indicate shyness. But most of all, it can indicate resistance, such that you're hiding behind an object in an effort to separate yourself from who it is that you're speaking with, such as your participants. Now, if you're doing a presentation and you're using a script or a cue card, hold them slightly to the left or to the right of your body. Okay, so it makes it easy for you to read, and the information is there, and you're only using one hand. Try to not hold something directly in front of you. The second is, of course, checking the time or inspecting your fingernails. Now, I'm pretty sure that you're not going to be looking at your fingernails to make sure that they're nice and clean. But often during a presentation, you might check your time to make sure that you're not going over time or spending too much time on one particular subject. This can indicate to your participants that you're bored with the material. So again, try not to do this. Every now and then, of course, you can glance at the clock on the wall at the end of the hall or beside you, but please avoid inspecting your fingernails completely. The next one is, of course, picking lint off your clothing, or you see something on your shoulder and you flick it off. If you have lint on your clothing, leave it there. If you do this, especially in conjunction with looking downwards, now most people will assume that you disapprove of them, or you feel uneasy about giving them information or giving them an honest opinion. Leave the lint alone. Okay? The next is, of course, stroking your chin. Stroking your chin whilst looking at someone. this automatically says you're judging them, or you're judging the information that is being presented on the slide, or you're judging the information that one of the participants has presented to you during the presentation. If you look at someone while you're stroking your chin, they may assume that you're making a judgment decision on them. So again, avoid doing this. Narrowing your eyes. If you want to give someone the impression that you don't like them or you don't like their idea, then narrow your eyes whilst looking at them. It immediately places a scowled expression on your face. A slightly narrowing of the eyes is instinctual expression of anger across various species within the animal kingdom. Some people make the mistake of narrowing their eyes during a conversation as a reflex of thinking. Now, this obviously doesn't send the message that you disapprove, but it can send a message, and this message could be the wrong message. So remember, don't narrow your eyes. Now, depending on the culture that you're in and the area that you're presenting the information in, and of course it could have something to do with the room that you're in, but standing too closely to someone. Now, to most people this simply makes people feel uncomfortable. Most people, most cultures will consider somewhere between 2 and 4 foot square space immediately surrounding their body to be known as personal space. When you cross this invisible boundary with friends, it becomes an intimate thing. But when you're doing it with people that you don't know, except when you're standing at the traffic lights or you're in a crowded elevator, but when you're presenting information and you stand too close to one of your participants, it can make them feel uncomfortable. So avoid doing this without first gaining eye contact with the person. And with that eye contact, ask permission to stand closely to them. The next would be looking down whilst in the presence of others. This can be, of course, again, shyness. It can also indicate disinterest. I've heard some neuro-linguistic specialists state that it is a sign of arrogance. Try not to do this. Always look straight ahead and make eye contact when you see someone you know, or you're speaking with a participant. Don't speak down. Don't speak to the object. Speak to the person. Okay. Touching your face during a conversation. Now, this is a very, very tricky area and is often misinterpreted in many, many different ways. But touching your face is commonly interpreted as an indication of deception. When someone is about to say something that they know is wrong, they'll cover their mouth very, very quickly. It is a gesture made right before someone makes a mistake or someone is about to be telling a lie. Also keep your hands away from your face when you're speaking completely. Now, this next one is the used car salesman. It's called the fake smile. Now, you can see in the eyes of the person that you're talking to. With a fake smile, there's no eye movement, but with a real smile, you can see the crow's nest happening in the corners of the eye. But a fake smile is a sign of deception, and it tells you that the person who is giving the fake smile is a fraud. Okay, be looking for those those eye crinkles, the crinkles around the mouth, the wrinkles near the eyes. Check all of these things to determine whether the smile is real or not. It's easy to distinguish between the two, but remember, don't force yourself to smile, unless of course you're in front of a camera and you need to be. Now, the most difficult one here is leaning away from someone that you like, or leaning away from when you're in a group of people. Now, you'll notice the lady here that looks like she's sewing or knitting. Now, she has become estranged from the group that she's with. Now, she's leant away and she's no longer participating in the conversation. It almost says to the people in the group, I don't like you. People lean towards people that they like and away from people that they don't like. Now, this is especially true when you're sitting around a table. As you can see, this lady is here. If you lean away from someone, you're sending them the wrong message. Be very, very careful. When you're making a presentation and you lean away from them because you feel uncomfortable with that person, and it can happen. I have found myself in several situations where I've just had this very, very bad feeling about the person that I'm speaking with, and I've had the urge of moving back away from them. Reverse it and move forward to them so that they get a feeling of intimacy from you, especially when you're making a presentation. It will change their attitude towards you as well. Now, don't be sending them the wrong message. Now, resting your hands behind your head or on your hips. Now, this is a very, very common gesture for someone who is superior, or someone that merely feels comfortable and relaxed. But usually it is a sign of superiority or big-headedness. Now, only use this gesture when you're amongst friends. Try not to use it when you're in an office or around people that you're presenting in a group situation. Remember, when you sit at a table with some of your participants, I want you to not put your legs forward and put your hands behind your head. When you're standing in front of your participants, please do not put your hands on your hips. You can put one hand in your pocket, of course, but please, not both hands. Put only one hand, and make sure that you don't look like the boss standing up in front of your participants. Remember, when you're putting your hands behind your head and you're sitting back and relaxing, watching the football, this is a gesture that you are with or in the presence of close friends. Now, this one happens a lot when you're walking with people down the road, especially with people that you don't know. Now, you'll notice that I am talking with this young man, but I'm not looking at him. Now, why is that? It could be several reasons. One could be discomfort or lack of interest in the person that I'm speaking with. Or it could be that I'm not trusting him to tell me should I step into something that is on the road, or maybe trip because I'm not watching where I'm going. I'm looking at the person that I'm speaking with. When we're unhappily engaged in a conversation, we tend to face away from the person that we're speaking to. But when we're happily engaged in the conversation, we tend to face the person we're speaking to with our feet and torso facing almost directly forward. when we're unsure of that person or not completely committed to the conversation, we tend to angle ourselves away from them. And we give off the impression that we're truly not interested in what that other person is saying, or we just don't feel comfortable with that person.